We came across an interesting post about a driver who got a call from the police asking information about a previous passenger. And then we asked, what would you do, both on our Facebook and YouTube page? Here's what he had to say. Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the Rideshare Guy. And today we're going to go over a post that we came across and your feedback on what you would do. And if you're watching this, well, tell us what you'd do in the comments below. All right, so this is what we came across, and it said, I just had the police call my phone to ask information about a passenger I picked up yesterday. Weird. He asked me to give him the drop-off address, but I honestly explained that we don't have access to the address once we have ended the ride. He stayed on the phone with me for probably more than 5 minutes. He gave me his badge number and name, saying if I wish to make sure that he's with the department, which he says he's at. Now, right off the bat, you might be wondering, why would the police be calling you as a driver to ask you about information on a passenger's drop-off location? And not only that, why wouldn't they just talk to Uber or Lyft, depending on where the ride originated from? And it does just sound a little weird off the bat. The thing is, though, yes, the police can contact you as a driver. I have seen a video on YouTube that has shown a driver getting a call from a police about a passenger who made a false report saying that she ran over his foot, and he had dash camera footage to show that she was walking towards the car as he was leaving. So it was a false report. Now, this happened in Canada, so things could be a little bit different there when it comes down to it. But it begs the question on why did the driver get contacted about information that Uber and Lyft should be providing in the event that a police officer is asking for it, unless there's something more to the story that maybe we don't know about. That's hypothetical. I don't know, but let's go to what your comments are, both on Facebook and YouTube, of what you said when it comes to handling a situation very similar to this. All right, so let's take a look at a few of the comments on Facebook. And the first one from Allison right here says, they would have to contact Uber first to get your number, and Uber would have the information of the rider. Probably was someone trying to find out if their partner was cheating and needed the address. So that is one thing. The police would contact Uber directly, not the driver. Uber would have more information and all the details of the ride. Details that the driver has on past trips is limited on purpose for security reasons. Sounds suspicious. Now, Chuck says you can give an approximate location if you go back in your earnings history to the trip. In some cases, it will show the block number and rare cases the exact address, but at a minimum, it'll show the pickup and drop off streets. Now, that is true right there, but it's always something on giving out any type of information to somebody who calls you. So even though you can give an approximate, it's still not exactly. And again, in this case, Uber or Lyft would have that information. So again, it's just a very suspect thing all around. Then you see here, it says Patrick stated he would drop them off at their destination without incident to the best of their knowledge. And if anything beyond that, refer them to the rideshare legal department. Right underneath that, Becky says, sounds fishy. Out of curiosity, I would call and check his name and badge number. Well, I would take it one step further there. And I would actually request to talk to that person to make sure it was the exact person, and then try to find out maybe a little bit more information on why they're requesting that type of information from me as a driver versus going through Uber or Lyft. Maybe it's because you need a subpoena for that information, maybe other reasons. I'm not exactly 100% sure. But again, why would they be contacting the driver after trying to contact Uber or Lyft, having the phone number? And it's very suspect. That's all I got to say. And right under that, also, it says from Jennifer, tell them to call Uber if they didn't already. Now, Lori made a comment that said they will subpoena your records. Happened to her in an armed robbery case. So, Lori, if you're seeing this, please comment or let us know exactly what happened. That's a very interesting story to see. So let us know exactly what happened there, if you would. Brian stated, sounds like a jealous cop husband. And now Robin states, stupid. So how do they think they can get your number but not your passenger? Think now. Screams scam. They would get the info from Uber if it were really the police. All right, and now let's head over to the YouTube community tab and look at some of the comments you posted there. And we'll start with Andre. He states, I would ask a lot of questions. Why did you call me? Did the TNC give you this number? If not, how did you get the number? If you contacted the TNC and they didn't give you the passenger's address, why would you call the driver? Great tips right there. Going on to the next comment, Kondralis says, send them to Uber or whoever to talk about Uber's or whoever's problem customer. It could be the police. It could be someone's significant other. It could be the same guy that passenger pissed off. You don't have to talk to any of those people, and you shouldn't be talking to the cops about Uber's customer without more justification than I know your phone number. The first question you should be asking yourself is what you agreed to in your contract with Uber or whoever respect to their privacy policy. Larry L writes, your best option, officer, is to contact Uber directly. We don't have that information available after the ride is complete. Daniel Ramirez writes, I personally would have told the street I dropped off at. That does show up in the app. I would politely answer anything I knew the answer to because the chances are good the rider is in some sort of trouble, maybe even a trafficking situation. Scance Rants states, how did the cop get their number? And that's really a good question there. All right, thank you to all the people who commented both on Facebook and YouTube, had some really insightful comments. Make sure you check both the YouTube community tab and the Facebook page to see any of the more comments because there was quite a few on there. And again, in this situation, on this particular post that we came across, there's a lot more questions that we have that we just don't know. That's pretty much all we do know is what you know. And there are a lot more questions. The thing is, it comes down to if you were in a similar situation to something like that, what would you do? And this is what a few other drivers out there would. For me personally, if I was in a situation where the police contacted me about something, I would be asking a lot of questions. I would be verifying exactly who I'm talking to and try to get as many reasons why they're contacting me and what they're contacting me really for. Just to make sure that it's not something like a jealous person, somebody who's trying to impersonate somebody, maybe a jealous cop. There's a lot of things that are very shady that we just don't have the answers to in this particular post. So unfortunately, there's a lot of things that you'd have to figure out and find out in the event that the police tried contacting you about a particular rider and just go from there. So in the grand scheme of things, I would just continue to recommend ask a lot of questions and verify exactly who you're talking to. Make sure it's the correct person. Make sure if you call the police department, get the badge number and try to talk to them on the phone, that it is actually the same person. And if you want to talk to somebody else that's in the police department to try to figure out if that's just a jealous person or not, or an active investigation, you could try doing something like that too. Or you could just kind of brush it off and say, I don't need to go that far into things, but just make sure you always are paying attention and aware. If you ever give out any personal information or anything to anybody over the phone that calls you, always ask questions. Do not give out that personal information, no matter what, no matter who they say is on the other end. You have to verify who you're talking to first. Because again, scams run rampant, and this could just be another type of scam that we just haven't really heard of yet, or somebody trying something. Who knows exactly what's going on? But again, I want to know what your thoughts are, at least on the general situation. If you had the police contacting you, what would you do? Comment below and let us know. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook. Link is going to be in the description below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. We're going to post different scenarios, different situations, and ask you exactly what you're going to do. And we might pull your comment for a future video. All right, everyone, drive safe.